Welcome to Fermentation Friday. This week I'm talking about apple cider vinegar and my finally exciting conclusion to my apple cider vinegar saga of I have apple cider vinegar. Yay! I've started film footage for this video like 5 times. I've been like, oh, like, here we go, apple cider vinegar diary, like, here I am chopping, like, the apples, oh, here I am, I have all my leftover apple cores, like, yay, into the container, like, here we go, it's supposed to be so simple, let's come back a week later, and, oh, look, I've mold growing, oh. Okay, into the compost, and here we are, we have more apple cores. It's been a good thing that I've been doing a bunch of canning that involves having apples, so I have all these apple cores to experiment with. I haven't been just chopping up apples and putting them completely to waste, but yeah. Yay! I did it! The backstory on how I messed these up, because obviously I still mess them up, is that even though I did get these to grow and I got like a beautiful mother vinegar layer growing on there, so nice, keep everything so mold free, I forgot about them, which is the trick for vinegar, you just forget about it, right? So I did something right, forgetting about it. But I was supposed to strain out the bits, and I think that the variety of apples that I was using, like, might have not been the best apple because it basically just turned to applesauce. So what I have here isn't ideal because I don't really want applesauce vinegar. I want apple cider vinegar. So this is full of stuff, and I think once I strain it, I'm gonna have like, ding, like hardly any vinegar. But I got these like beautiful little mother vinegar layers, so when I go to refill these containers with more apples that I can then strain, I can slap those on there and have a nice little mold shield, right? Like that's what vinegar does, right? That's why we want things to be acidic, keep those molds out. So I'm hoping that I can kind of use that as like a buffer, because if not, maybe I need to skip vinegars until I know how to make alcohol. But I hope you guys will enjoy the footage of me putting these together and also me straining them out and seeing what I get, because I'm excited. So I made some applesauce for my kids here, and with all the leftover cores and peels, I threw it back into the pot, and it's been soaking here now for about a day, and you can kind of see on the top there's like some bubbles, and if I give it a bit of a stir, you can see there's a bunch of action happening in there. You know, it's not in this pot for any reason other than the fact that I was too lazy to actually get it put into something, and because it's kind of just been doing its thing, I haven't been too worried. This is probably like a day and a half of it sitting out here. Okay, so there we go. We got them all jarred up. What I'm also going to do here, because the advice on it was to do, to basically inoculate your fresh start with some culture from an actual living apple cider vinegar. So I have some of that. It's been in the fridge. I don't know if it's actually gonna do anything, but I'm gonna follow the advice on that. Okay, so things have bubbled up like crazy here. I went to check what these are doing, and this fabric is actually drenched. It's dripped down my jars, and it even has a little bit of a puddle around the base of the jars. So, you know, clearly the inch of headspace that I left in there just wasn't enough. So I'm gonna have to clean this up here. Here's a little bit of a before and after stirring color comparison. So you can definitely see how much of the stuff is kind of getting stirred up or floating up into the top, and then it's settling kind of back in after I stir it. Okay, so that was day 3, so hopefully we can get things going a little bit more calmly. I've been stirring these every 24 hours, but if they're going to be that active, I'm probably going to have to keep an eye on them and stir them every 12 hours just so it doesn't bubble over again. Okay, so things are getting a little out of control on all of these apple cider ferments. I don't know if you can see, but it's just moisture. It's just drenched. I have like a puddle on my stove here, and my other two have been doing this nonstop today too. I've been actually having to stir this one, which has the SCOBY in it, every 30 minutes. Like, I don't know if you saw the bulge there. Yeah, every 30 minutes to keep it from puffing up to the point that it's just running over. And then you can see there's just so much liquid in there. So I've been coming in here and just stirring it down. All these apples have just turned into just pure applesauce type sludge at this point. And, you know, they're making a mess, and it's getting to the point that, you know, the fruit flies, they're coming. But things are smelling boozy in all of them. And I'm guessing that pretty soon I'll be able to strain out these apple bits, which should make it so that the gas can just bubble out. If this thing doesn't slow down, just because I won't be able to keep an eye on this, I will be straining it out tonight because I don't want to wake up to it just making this huge mess everywhere. But yeah, hopefully I can get it to calm down in the next hour or two. But yeah, one thing they don't talk about, which I've learned, is maybe make sure to have some extra space in your container for how much it could bubble up, because yeah, this is crazy. So it's been a couple weeks now, and here are my 2 apple cider vinegars. I'm pretty excited because if you actually look right in there, I have a layer forming on here, which is, oh, sorry. I have a mother of vinegar layer forming on there, so that is pretty exciting. Over on this one, it's in there as well, but it's not quite as obvious as this one. Over here, I didn't actually get these strained. When I went to strain them, the mother had started to form, so I didn't really want to disturb them. And as it continues to age, I don't know if you can see in these layers here, but I have a bunch of sediment that settled down here, and then I had liquid, and then I had most of the bulk sitting up here. But as it's aged over this last week, this stuff here has started to drop down. And, you know, it seems likely that as this all settles and the liquid kind of floats up, I'm going to get closer to it being finished. And so it might actually be a good indicator for when I would be ready to kind of take that final liquid out. But I'm going to open this up. I want to open these up very briefly. The fruit flies really like them, so I haven't really been opening it to try to keep everything as clean as possible. But there we go. You can see the mother forming on the top there, and it started to be a pretty thick layer and a lot more apple sitting on the top there. So I am a little bit concerned about the potential of mold on this one, but I've been keeping an eye on it, and I think that since, you know, the mothers started to form, it's hopefully acidic enough that I'm not going to have any issues. But this one's a little bit more iffy. Okay, so for straining these out, what I'm going to do is, I got a big old bucket, and I got this sweet colander, and as you may know this about me, I'm a little bit cheap, so I don't actually have cheesecloth, and I absolutely refuse to ever buy it. And so what I'm going to use instead is, well, maybe not this one, because apparently I'm also so cheap that I keep all my tea towels and rags, even when they have lots of holes in them. But I'm going to use a rag to be my cheesecloth in here. And then we are going to try to strain some liquid out of my applesauce vinegar. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fish out and salvage some of these mother vinegar layers, because this is what I'm really the most excited about in these. So I'm going to try to get them into this bowl before I then try to strain all this stuff. This one's a nice thick patty. Originally all the apple chunkies were floating, if I didn't get any footage of that, and then they kind of just settled into the bottom. Seemed like once all of the kind of alcohol carbonation process was finished and it was well onto its way to being vinegar, it kind of all just sat down. Oh man. Super strong. I don't want to disturb this, because when you start bumping around at everything, that's when the particles kind of fall through on the rag, especially on a rag. You know, if you use multiple layers of cheesecloth, it's going to be a bit better. But I'm curious to see. Yeah, we definitely got some stuff straining through there. Here's my mother vinegars. Very exciting. Okay, and there we go. We have it all strained out, and it did actually a pretty good job. You know, it's a little bit cloudy, but it's what apple cider should look like. You guys know this about me, and I'm a paranoid fermenter, and it smells really funky, and the taste on it is like, oh, like super sour. It's almost like the smell on it, it almost smells like moonshine-y amount of vinegar. Like we started with a lot more alcohol to get converted into vinegar than we normally would. And I mean, I did go about this in, you know, like an open vessel where it just kind of did its thing. It's not like I made apple cider and then I turned the apple cider into vinegar. So I got paranoid. I grabbed the kombucha vinegar, and the kombucha vinegar has that same kind of pungent aroma to it too. So it just, this didn't taste like what my store-bought apple cider vinegar tastes like. And I mean, fair enough, it's been going at it for probably like 2 months now, so that is a long time to sit. Maybe I just left it so long that there was no sweetness left to it at all, but this might end up being the cleaning vinegar, not so much the the cooking vinegar, especially because I have the kombucha vinegar, which is so good. So let's call this how not to make apple cider vinegar, maybe? I don't know. I'm super excited that I do have my mother's of vinegar. I'm basically gonna use this vinegar to store them for now, because I don't actually have the next batch of apple cider vinegar to do, but I think I'm happy. I'm happy with those. You know, they perfectly fit these jars, which are the exact size that I want to be using for doing the vinegars. You know, this is kind of like a 2-liter jar, a half-gallon jar, so, you know, I'm excited to have a mother of vinegar that's gonna fit in there and keep everything going. So I'm gonna fill one of these jars back up, get the mother of vinegars kind of happily living in there, and we'll see how brave I can be. I mean, I ate that other pickle, so I don't know. Maybe I need to do it a couple more times, I think, before I'm gonna be 100% okay. And I also need to not do it as the applesauce. That's like, I don't know. Don't learn about fermenting from me. Only watch these videos to make you feel better. If you would like to feel better about how you ferment by watching me badly ferment things, don't forget to check us out every Friday where Sarita, grows rot. Where Sarita grows mold. So, hopefully you found this educational. I'm on the fence. The theory's there. So I'll see you guys next week with more fermenting, more vinegar, hopefully, and have a good week.